Anthony Curtis, how are you doing today?
Doing okay. We got, I don't know, about 112 degrees here today. And so
Oh,
everybody's staying inside, but yeah, we're doing fine.
oh, nice brisk temperature today. All
Amazing.
right. So we're back to talk to you again about some of the updates going on in Las Vegas. Today is Friday, August 6th, and we're going to do what we've been doing these updates a bit. And now this is the first update we're doing where things have actually seemed to be a little bit worse COVID wise than previously. And so I saw that they had a mask mandate again. Are any of the other restrictions that we've talked about previously coming back?
It's kind of hard to say. And, you're right. Vegas has taken a step back for sure. Um, it started out the middle of last month where the governor mandated that employees wear masks. All employees had to wear masks, but it did not extend to the customer. As of last week, 1 week ago today, it extended to everybody. So everybody indoors had to wear a mask. So the mask thing, yes. The other things in terms of the social distancing protocols, the number of people on tables, the plexiglass, that sort of thing, it's kind of here and there. It depends on the place. Some places are enforcing it, some aren't. For the most part, they aren't. But the amazing thing is that the people don't seem to be paying as much attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you go to just about any casino and there's going to be somebody at the door. There's going to be an employee at the door. He's going to tell you you've got to wear a mask or point to your face or something. Usually they'll have masks to give you if you don't have one. But once you get inside, you see people taking them off.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but the casinos themselves are less strict about going after you when they see you inside. So it's almost like everybody's just had enough. It's like they're just fed up and they're doing it kind of half-assed. Everybody's half-assed about the whole thing. Like, okay, I guess I'll kind of do it for a while if I feel like it. It's very strange, to be honest with you.
Now, let me ask you, I had read something online. I don't know if this was true, that they were saying that the Cosmo, if you're there on a Friday or a Saturday night, you can't get in after a certain time unless you're a hotel guest.
I haven't heard that, but that's the way it was for the first one. After
Uh-huh.
during the first not the lockdown, because the lockdown nobody could get in anywhere. But when they reopened, there were rules like that on the weekends. But specifically, we had some staffers here at LVA go there. Some of the women on a girls' night out, and they were there throughout the entire weekend. They were staying there, so they didn't run into any of this, and I didn't hear anything about it. But they said they didn't wear their masks the whole time, and nobody gave them a hard time about it. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody who's watching this that you should just go in there and flaunt the rules. I mean, but this is the way it's happening right now. You should always have a mask on you. So if somebody, if they decide to change and they decide to get, to enforce this more strictly, you've got to have a mask or, you're not going to be allowed.
And now I'm not sure about how it is in Vegas, but I know down here I had gone out to eat with my girlfriend the other day. We went to a TGI Fridays before we went to the movies, and it was incredibly understaffed. I think they had one bartender and two servers in the entire restaurant, and only had like a third of the restaurant open. Is that happening out in Vegas too, where they don't have enough people to staff the restaurants?
It's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere. I mean, almost everywhere you go, unless you're in the best of the best restaurants, and sometimes even then, there is a diminished experience, and it's due to lack of service, lack of staffing. The reason for that is everybody's claiming labor shortages. They're saying people don't want to work. I'm sure there's a lot of that going on because of, the political aspect of it with the unemployment that's being extended and so forth. But I also think the casinos are just taking advantage of this opportunity not to staff up. That's the problem we're facing with the casinos is they're making money hand over fist right now because people are still piling in because of the pent up demand, as we keep hearing. And the casinos are getting away with that with lousy service and understaffing. And I think it's going to be that way until people, have had enough of it. But yeah, it's really tough. I ate at a restaurant the other day. It's a small place called the Klondike down in Henderson, but there was like one person serving in the whole place. And then we found out that she wasn't even coming to the tables. You had to walk up to the counter where the kitchen is to place your own order. Nobody even told us that. I mean, it's really bad here.
What's interestingly enough is down here, the casino, the Seminole Hard Rock, the Big Guitar, seems to be the only place where you get good service here. Everywhere else is the issue. So it seems to be almost the opposite here. Now, another thing is that I saw that July 21st, I saw a memo that came out that said that there were now 8 buffets open, and those were Bellagio, Bacchanal, Circus Circus, Wicked Spoon at the Cosmo, Excalibur, MGM Grand, South Point, and the Wynn. Now, have any of those reversed course and closed again since, or are they're going full steam ahead, or?
No, if anything, here's what's happening. You named them right. Those are the 8 buffets. They've been the same 8 for over a month now, or about a month now. If anything, they're raising prices. I mean, that's the main thing. You know, most of the reports, we tried a couple of them. We went to the Bacchanal. The Bacchanal was absolutely fabulous. But a later report we got about it was that it pulled back a little bit. Some of the things that were there when we were there were no longer there. Yet they raised the price by $5. So it's now like $70 for dinner. You know, that's what they're doing. The high price buffets are coming back. They keep raising their prices. Wynn just recently raised their price. I think they're up to 65 now. And they're not cutting back. If anything, they're adding additional hours. But prices keep going up, and we haven't seen any new ones. Tropicana experimented for 3 days. They ran a buffet for 3 days in a ballroom, and it was absolutely terrible from what I heard. And they stopped doing it. So, you know, for 3 days we had 9 buffets, but right now it's 8, the same 8 that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I know it's down here in Florida. I went to go out to dinner last night and tried to get crab cakes that were on the menu. And the waiter just told us, he's like, listen, he's like, we had to pull it off the menu. The crab is so expensive right now that we couldn't feasibly have that on the menu. So I feel like if it's got to be even crazier at a buffet, especially these high-end ones that have the seafood. So
yep,
that's probably why they're raising the prices there.
That's what's happening there. And we're seeing the prices of seafood and beef going up everywhere. I'll give you an example of that. There's a really good lunch special at a place called The Palm in the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace. And this lunch special is a 3-course special for $29. And I went there a week ago, and I had a filet, you know, the whole thing. We had a Caesar salad, a filet, a dessert, $29 a side. It was fantastic. I went back yesterday, and there was a $10 upcharge for the filet. It's happening, and we're seeing prices like that. Circus Steakhouse. A buddy of mine just wrote to me. He goes, remember that ribeye we had for $62 the other day? Now it's $76.
Wow.
That's what
I
we're
didn't
seeing.
even realize Circus had a high-end steakhouse.
Oh yeah, you know, it's considered one of the best in Vegas. It's the one thing about Circus that's really out of place. It's called the Steakhouse, and it's considered absolutely one of the best long-running steakhouses in Vegas. A real, you know, gourmet type steakhouse, and it's always been great, and you know, really good food there. But you know, $12, $14 increase in steaks. Unbelievable, man.
Now, how are the shows reacting? Because I know the shows are probably not as fluid as the casinos. Are they having to social distance in the seats? Like, are they selling every seat now, or?
Well, again, some are and some aren't, you know, just based on what they decide to do. But this mask mandate for employees and for people extends to just about everybody except performers and shows. So they got a break there. You know, that was one of the big problems with shows, is they said, you know, if we got to wear masks, we can't perform. And the one exception there was that performers and people in the bands of the shows that do not have to mask up during the performances. So not much has changed there. It's just a matter of how the customers are viewing it now. And do they want to go and have to sit there and wear a mask in the showroom, you know, that sort of thing.
Now, I know, I forget which show it was, but I think it was one of the hypnotists said that he couldn't do his shows if the audience was wearing masks because he needed to be able to see their faces to do his whole spiel. I couldn't remember who that was, but is that the only show that is closed down, or are there a few now? Do you know?
Yeah, it's one of the mentalists guys who, you know, basically his show is based on seeing reactions. That's how these guys work. You know, I mean, it's all a process and a procedure, how they do this. Like, well, how did you know that? Well, you know, you give away subtle tells and all. And he couldn't perform. And he, you know, put it on hiatus because of that. But none of the others have canceled or delayed at this time.
And I know you were saying that the casinos are making money hand over fist. Does that mean that the room rates are still high? Have they got dipped at all, or they're still way up there?
Room rates haven't dipped. But, you know, again, some have gone up, some have been decent. I mean, in the last Las Vegas Advisor, we still put room rates as the number 10 value, because if you look around and you call around, you're still going to get rooms, you know, even with resort fees in the $50 and $60 a night range. And if that's not a deal, I don't know what is. You know, when you talk about any other major city, you're going to be paying three figures no matter what. You're going to be paying over $100.
Oh yeah.
You know, here you can pay half the price, especially if you're willing to stay downtown or, you know, off the strip. So room rates haven't really, occupancy is starting to go up, but still not to the point that they want it. So room rates are lagging in terms of that. Plus it's still summer. I think now, you know, as we get into September and October, I think we're going to start to see room rates rise as well.
All right, now I know the last video we did, I think it was like a day or two after that Resorts World opened. I saw you put out your own video on your YouTube channel. How's Resorts World?
Yeah, we've got one coming up. We're gonna actually post it maybe even to, you know, any day now, where we did a big 25-minute walk around. So we spent some time in there. You know, glitchy is the word that everybody's using about Resorts World. There's a lot of, they want to be the most technologically advanced casino ever, you know, in the world. So everything you do there has to do with using your smartphone. Well, that's problematic in a couple of ways. First of all, a lot of people, especially, you know, the older clientele, they don't like using their cell phone, or they don't even know how to use their cell phone. So you tell them that they've got to order food with their phone, and, you know, they go into a tizzy over the whole thing. Now they've got people to help you, but it's just not comfortable. The other thing is their systems have been, you know, going down sporadically. The first day I was there, I don't know if I mentioned it when I talked to you, but I went to get a couple of beers, and they couldn't even pull up the price. And the bartender said, just give me $12, we'll call it even. I was like, well, $6 beers, that's pretty good. I'll go for it. Now, you know, I later found out that the beers are not $6 there, you know, they're $8, $10, whatever. But it's very expensive. Everything about the place is expensive, pretty much. You know, the food is expensive. The rooms are fairly expensive. The limits on the table, the minimums are high. So Resorts World is an expensive place to go, but it's also quite an amazing place to walk through and see. You know, it's huge. It's beautiful. There's a lot going on there. And I'll tell you one of the coolest things. They have water fountains and water bottle refilling stations all over the place on the main floor. Now think of tell me another major casino that has even a single water fountain. Why? Because they want you to buy drinks.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you come out of the 110, 112 degree weather, and you don't have to, you're not forced to go and pay $7 for a Coke or $10 for a beer. You can go to a water fountain anywhere in the place. So I give them credit for that. That's one cool thing.
That's cool. And then how is Virgin and Mohegan Sun? Have you been back? I know you had said it was a bit of a ghost town. I've heard from a lot of people it was a bit of a ghost town.
Yeah.
Has that picked up at all, or they're still lagging behind?
Well, I haven't been there that often. I've spent more time at resorts checking that out. But the time I have spent there, I actually got a friend staying there right now, and the reports are still that it's very sparse in there. So, you know, Vegas in general, again, during the weekdays, it's getting a little better, but it's summertime, weekdays, still, you know, the crowds really aren't back. Weekends are when it's really overflowing here. Everybody decides they want to come here for that. I assume they're doing pretty well on the weekends. Weekdays, I don't think so, you know, not so much. But that's an opportunity there, because you know, they've got some pretty good restaurants. They got you know, a Thai restaurant, a Thai street food restaurant. They got their steakhouse. They just opened up the Todd English restaurant there. So it's an opportunity to try some of these places.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to be staying there the end of next month, so I'm excited to check it all out.
Yep.
Now, what about, are there any updates on the closed casinos? I know Stations had quite a few closed casinos. Have they announced anything about what they're doing?
Mostly it's been status quo with the closed casinos. Boyd has given some hints that they're looking to reopen Main Street Station downtown. So of all the casinos that are closed, you know, we're looking at Texas Station, Fiesta Rancho, Fiesta Henderson from Station Casinos. We're looking at Main Street Station and Eastside Cannery from Boyd, and of course the Palms. Well, the Palms is not going to open until the new owners, which is the
San Manuel Casino. My dad was just there. He said that place was amazing. He's real excited for the Palms to open back up.
Yeah, I think I said this last time I was on, I can't think of someone I'd rather have bought the place, so I think that's going to be cool, but they're not going to open up until probably 22. It doesn't look like Station has any intention of opening any of their places. Boyd has said that they're looking for the opportunity, given demand, to reopen Main Street Station. Of all of them, Main Street Station is the biggest one that's still closed.
Now,
Second
the thing about Main Street Station is that was where you could always park for free downtown. All you had to do was go into the cashier and get your ticket validated. Is that parking still open since Main Street's closed, or no?
No, that's no, there's no parking down there, I don't think. Actually, that's a pretty good question. I should take a better look at that, but I don't think so. I know that the lot that they use across, that is like the California lot, that one's open. And downtown is still, except for Circa, downtown is a place where you still have to originally pay for parking or take a ticket, but you can get it validated. It's pretty easy to validate in most places, except for Circa still.
And now the strange thing is we just said that Stations is not thinking about opening any of their casinos, but I've seen quite a few reports saying that they're finally going to break ground on Durango Station. You think there's any merit to those, or no?
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I mean, I think that all of these places are taking, like I said earlier in this discussion, they're all taking the opportunity to basically fill their own coffers and do the things that they need. They've got cash coming in, they've got a lot of cash flow, and they're going to take this opportunity to continue to maximize their profits and do things like open up a new casino and so forth.
It seems strange to me that they've got what, 3-4 casinos that are just closed, but they're going to build a whole new one from the ground.
Well, I'm not in on the board meetings and all, but I know what I see, I know what I hear, I know when I talk to people there who are in their executive offices and all, and I hate what Station is doing. I mean, to me, Station has just turned their back on the customer and gone the other direction. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. It's
for you guys, you used to work with them on your coupons and things. We worked with them for 2 decades, and they just flat out said, we're not interested. And to me, it's not a slap in the face to me. It's a slap in the face to their customers, saying, we don't want you. We don't want those people. We want people who are idiots that are going to come in here and lose their money to us.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a little bit too big for their britches. They think they don't need to offer anything to the casino or to the customers, but
maybe they don't. And at this point, maybe they don't. And I'm the last person to say, that you shouldn't do what the market will bear. So, this really falls on the customer. If the customer is going to take that sort of, I see these commercials from Station all over, like, we're so great and blah, 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 and we love you. Bullshit. They don't love you. And I mean, until people start to realize that, they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, I know somebody, one of the guys that helps us on our book, he lives in Vegas, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, I keep seeing all these commercials for Stations, and then they just don't offer anything. It's just a commercial.
Yeah, they're tightening up on just about every single thing that they do. And it's a shame, because they were just such a great operator for so long. And they did just fine by being, really good to their customer, but it wasn't good enough for them, I guess. And now they want to be a strip casino. They're acting like an MGM or a Caesars. I give, the only thing with Station is you still got free parking, so that's cool. I give a little bit of a nod to Caesars, which still has free parking, at least for locals. Not for visitors, but at least for locals, which is, I'm utterly shocked that it's lasted this long. The other big news is that the big parking garage behind the Planet Hollywood, behind the mall there. I keep wanting to say Desert Passage, but it's now called Miracle Mile Shops. But they 2 days ago, they started charging for parking there.
Oh,
and
wow.
That was a place that was always open. When everybody was at the height of charging for parking, the Miracle Mile Mall parking garage was always open, because that's where people went to shop and everything else. And now even they're charging for parking. So it's, here we go again. It's like, get what you can get your hands into their pockets. I hate to say it, but it's true.
And now Steve is not here, but I have to ask on his behalf, have you heard anything else? Has the price gone up on the Madison Square Garden Sphere again? I know he's obsessed with that. He told me to make sure I asked.
I know. Tell him it's now $42 billion. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I haven't heard anything about a price increase or a cost increase on that one yet.
Okay.
They
I'm sure
are
it's coming.
probably. I mean, when we get the final number, it's going to be something ridiculous.
Mhm.
But it's still a year and a half away. That thing, I think
Mhm.
it's 2023 now or something. It's like, who knows? Geez.
All right. Well, Anthony Curtis, always a pleasure talking to you. If people want to know more about you and your company, where can they do that?
Well, seeing that this is a YouTube crowd, we'd really like them to come to our YouTube channel. So they just have to search Las Vegas Advisor or my name, Anthony Curtis, and they'll find it. We're doing weekly updates now. Like, I'm doing these updates with you anytime you guys want. I'm happy to come on, but we're doing absolute weekly updates. So we tell you what's going on, right now. So I'd say that, or just come to LasVegasAdvisor.com and see what we do.
All right. Yeah. And I'll go ahead and put a link to his YouTube channel down in this description, so it'll be nice and easy to find. Anthony Curtis, thank you very much for spending time with us today.
All right, Matt, always fun to come on with you guys, even if it's just you.